Okay.
Thank you, Cindy. Again, I'm Beth Dirks, I'm the county manager. I'm part of the design team, and we've alluded a lot to Washington, D.C. So what I wanted to do is tell you a little bit more about how that happened, why that happened, and the process, the thought process, and the action steps that we were in before we went, and the thought process and the action steps now that we're back. So to give you a quick rundown, and I'll probably tell you all things that you know, Davie County was going through two very succinct issues, or I hate to use the word programs or things like that because it's not really a program, but we're going through two objectives, and they were running on parallel paths. One was the STEM initiative. We started on the STEM initiative. We worked hard on it. We put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of thought. We've gotten a lot of input from the community, which we all appreciate. We were going through that process, and in the same time, but not in the same program, was the high school process. We're going through the high school process as well, as far as the facility process. When the issue came up about building the high school, the design team, as well as the commissioners, the school board, asked the question, okay, we're going through this STEM initiative, the STEM collaborative. We're trying to create a STEM education environment. We're trying to create a curriculum centered around STEM. So what does the physical environment look like? What does a school look like where you have a good STEM education? What does it look like? So we placed some calls, and much to my frustration, everybody I called said, you know, I don't know. I can't tell you what that physical environment looks like. I don't know. Well, it was incredibly frustrating because it seemed to us that it would be logical if you're doing this new curriculum, this exciting curriculum, changing the way you're educating not only teachers but students and involving the community, then it would make sense and you would think that the environment would change. The physical facility where that happens would change. But nobody could tell us what it looked like. And because we didn't know and nobody could tell us what it looked like, the school board went through the process of selecting a prototype, going and looking at different schools, selecting a prototype. They selected the Reagan High School prototype and went down that process. So then we are invited, because we placed that call, we are invited. There were 6 states that were invited to a national workshop in Washington, D.C. North Carolina was one of those 6 states. And of the representatives from North Carolina, Davie County had 4 people that were invited. We had 6 from North Carolina that went. Davie County had 4 of the 6 people that went. So that alone is huge because Davie County represented the state of North Carolina in this national workshop. We go to this national workshop completely funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and in partnership with AAF, American Architectural Foundation. We go to this workshop. Again, we have a prototype. We have a prototype of a school. We go to this workshop, not quite sure what we're going to get out of it, but we're willing to go and willing to listen. And we get there, and they have a complete workshop about Davie County. Everything is about Davie County. They had 4 workshops. One of those workshops, and we've got 6 different states now, one of those workshops was 100% about Davie County. We were floored. We were very excited. They put us in a room for 2.5 days with some of the brightest architects around the nation. And they said, and you know, you're thinking architects, we're going to talk about a physical facility. For one whole day, all they wanted to hear was, what's your design plan? How are you going to deliver curriculum? What's different? What do you see? And we're sitting there, we're thinking, you're architects, why do you care? Tell us what the building looks like. They didn't want to talk about the building. They want to talk about how are we going to deliver curriculum? What are we doing that's new and innovative? What does your design plan look like? And what do you see? Close your eyes and tell us what you see. So we go through the process, kind of a little half-heartedly at first. We go through the process. And we say, well, we see teachers teaching teachers. We see the masters teaching other teachers, and those teachers teaching other teachers. We see teachers teaching students. We see students teaching students. We see students teaching teachers. We see all of this happening. We see community leaders coming in and teaching students, showing the real-life application of what they're learning. We see a lot of things. And we go through this whole process for one whole day. The next day, they bring us in and they say, okay, here is your floor plan of your prototype that we had, the actual Reagan model that we tweaked, that we said, this is it. Here's your plan. Now, where do you see teachers teaching teachers? Where do you see teachers teaching students? Where do you see all of this exciting innovation? Where do you see it? Which room is it going to happen in? And we couldn't pinpoint it. wasn't a place that could happen. So then what they did, they said, okay, now let's think outside the box, and let's take these interior walls and knock them down. Now, where do you see it? And we started drawing and moving things around and started really kind of playing with the design a little bit. And what we left with in Washington, D.C., we found out that because the reason nobody could tell us what a STEM school looked like is because they didn't know what our STEM plan, what our STEM initiative was. You have to have your STEM initiative, which we didn't have until December. You have to have that, and then you have to sit down and you have to talk about it, and you have to really engage your architects and work with it to find a facility that is built for your plan. And we came back from Washington, D.C., and we said, oh, we finally figured out how to take these two projects that are very important and make them one. We have finally found a way to do it. Now, let's go back and talk about a procedural error. The school board is going back and reselecting an architect. That's not a bad thing, because the school board is going back and reselecting an architect, which they should select on February 1st. AAF is coming on February the 2nd to Davie County. Those architects we worked with in Washington, D.C., they're coming to Davie County, and they're going to work with the architects that are going to be selected on the 1st. And they're going to sit down and they're going to do exactly what we did in Washington, D.C. They're going to take a generic prototype plan. We're going to talk about our STEM initiative, and we're going to design this school around our STEM initiative. Now, what's so important about that? We're the first in the nation to do that. Davie County is the first in the nation to get ready to do that. There are other states. There's Texas. There's Ohio. They've had STEM initiatives for several years, but they've never gone through this process. They started their STEM curriculum. They kind of plugged it into facilities that they had. We have a golden opportunity here to actually do everything from start to finish and do it right. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they told us that in Washington, D.C., Davie County, the nation's eyes are on you. You have an opportunity to be a leader in the nation because you're getting ready to do something no one else has done to this point. There are some states that are getting ready to start the initiative. New York is one of the states that's just getting ready to start their initiative. They're back where we were months and months and months ago. Haven't even started talking about their design plan. They came up to us and said, we want to know everything that you're doing because that's what we want to do. Tell us what's going on, tell us what you're doing, because we want to do exactly what you're doing. We have a very real opportunity to be a leader in the nation, and for that I'm thankful. For that I am excited. For all the children in Davie County, I'm thrilled. But what we need the community to pull together and get behind this, because it's no longer two different plans. It is no longer two different plans. It's one and the same. Because of the windows and the doors and the world that's been opened up to us through our partnership with the STEM Collaborative, through MCNC, through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, through AAF, they have given us resources that we never had before. We never had these architects to sit there and talk to us. And we're talking about architects that design schools. One of our architects went to India last week. I mean, they're designing schools all over the world. We got to sit down with them at no cost to Davie County and figure out how to do it right. We want to implement what we've learned. We want to take advantage of what we learned, and we want to be a leader, not just in the nation, but the world. We want everybody to see how you go through a STEM initiative, design a STEM plan, build a STEM school that's conducive for a good learning STEM environment. That's what's important, and that's what it's about. So we have a very real opportunity, and we're very excited about it. Again, AAF, they're coming to work with the design team next week. They're coming to work with the design team, and thank you. I know it was short notice for the design team. We asked the design team to give up 2 days. We want you to take 2 days out of your lives and put everything on hold and sit down and work with these people from AAF. Sit down, talk to them, work with them. We're going to put them with the newly selected architects, put them in a room, and let them work it out. Let them find a solution and come up with the best school that we can have. So that gives you a little bit of an update as far as what happened in Washington, D.C. It gives you a little bit of an update about what's happening next week. What we will do is once we finish our workshop with AAF, the design team and the architects finish the workshop with AAF, we'll do kind of a, I guess kind of a presentation, and we'll videotape that. What we want to do is once we videotape that, we want to take it and show it to everybody that'll watch it. Because we want you to see what's happening. This is something that we have to keep the group small because we've got a very small window of time for these people to come in and work with us. So we've got to keep the group small. We wish we could invite everybody in the world to come see what we're doing. But we really need to be productive in these 2.5 days that they're going to be here and take advantage of their time. But what we will do is we'll videotape the end presentation, and we'll make sure we put that on the website. We'll make sure we can show that to anybody that wants to see it, and we'll share everything that we've learned with you through the process. Larry?